First is Brad Bilodeau from Michigan Association of School Administrators. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Chairman Pileski and members of the committee. My name is Brad Bilodeau. I'm the Associate Executive Director of Government Relations for the Michigan Association of School Administrators. I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify on this legislation that attempts to support financially stressed districts. We are supportive of an effective early warning system and providing school districts with the data they need to avoid future deficits. However, the current proposal omits key components necessary for an efficient and effective early warning and deficit elimination system. I urge you not to rush this legislation and develop and implement a system that will provide stability to all Michigan school districts. I would like to take a moment and outline our concerns. Concern number one, the proposal is too broad. There are over 17 triggers specified in the legislation. A recent Treasury document reviewing just 2 of the proposed financial triggers indicate that 224 schools would be captured. This allows Treasury to have complete subjective control over determining which school districts are exposed to reporting and other requirements. Our solution: utilize existing private sector tools that determine financial performance in a district. There are several existing models that anticipate, study, predict, and report the financial information of school districts. Don't recreate the wheel. Concern number two, too much paperwork. The legislation stipulates specifically on page 16 of 957 that the school district is required to submit periodic financial status reports in the form and manner and on the periodic basis prescribed by the Department of Treasury. The proposal will direct districts to comply with several new record-keeping and reporting requirements which utilize staffing time and take valuable resources away from already financially stressed districts. Our solution: replace this siloed proposal with a system closer to the financially distressed districts. The legislation should include an option that requires collaboration at a local level of government prior to more state oversight. An ISD option would provide more collaboration, local control, and earlier access to potentially financially stressed districts. Concern number three, it circumvents the emergency manager process. The legislature passed PA 436 of 2011, which puts into statute a process for an emergency manager, placing an emergency manager into a school district. Specifically on Senate Bill 953, the proposed legislation seeks to bypass the review, local meetings, posting, finding of facts, hearing, consent agreement, and governance provisions, and places a district directly into an emergency manager. Our solution: we believe that that another layer of government oversight through an EDAP will just add more red tape. The current DEP process should be reworked to force more communication and authority within MDE and Treasury. At a minimum, the due process agreements currently allowed under law needs to be put back in. Concern number four, it impacts all districts. The legislation stipulates all districts are required to submit their budget assumptions to CEPI every year. Their ISD must then approve these assumptions. There is a new requirement that will impose additional reporting on districts. This is a new requirement that will impose additional reporting requirements into districts that have never shown a potential of budgeting issues. Our solution: don't regulate to the exceptions. There are typically less than 50 districts in deficit, which means that we are writing legislation that would impact every district in the state for 5% of districts that are typically in deficit. Concern 5, unfunded mandates. The proposed legislation requires districts to produce information at the discretion of the Department of Treasury. The bill directs districts to comply with several new record-keeping and reporting requirements which utilize staff time and take valuable resources away from already financially stressed districts. Our solution: we requested a legal opinion which you should have in front of you to verify that this legislation is in violation of the Headley Act. These are new reporting requirements. If the information is necessary or that necessary, we ask that the funds be appropriated to cover this mandate. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify. I urge you to oppose this version of the current early warning system. Take your time and develop and implement a system that will provide stability to Michigan school districts.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. In the interest of moving through all of those who wish to testify, I'm going to move on to the next person.
I have a question real quick.
I'd rather move on to the next person if I could, possibly. Thank you.
I'd like to ask a question. No? All right.
Jennifer Smith of the Michigan Association of School Boards, please.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Smith, and I'm the Assistant Director of Government Relations for the Michigan Association of School Boards, and I truly appreciate the opportunity to testify today on the version of the bills before you. We do support the idea of an early warning system. We think that this is something that would be valuable for our districts, but we don't believe that these bills are the way to do it. We have turned in a letter to you from a number of associations and ISDs with our concerns, and attached is a letter that we submitted in September to Senator Khan and Senator Walker outlining our concerns and our suggestions to fix them. None of those concerns were included within the subs that you see before you today. So we continue to have those concerns. In the interest of time, I'll allow you to read them rather than go through them. But I'd like to emphasize a couple of things that Brad brought up, including the bypassing the emergency financial manager law. A lot of time was spent on that law, as you all well know, to put together something that would work for our districts and for our municipalities. And all of that would be bypassed by allowing Treasury to simply put a district into an emergency manager without giving them the other options, the due process, and the public hearings that are allowed under the emergency financial manager law. We've also heard through these discussions that the deficit elimination plan is not working. We would suggest that we look at that. Let's fix that. Let's make that more transparent and give that more teeth rather than putting another entire level of bureaucracy layered over that. One of the questions that has come up a lot has been on pupil counts and things like that. We know, a local school district will know if a PSA is opening in their district, but we don't know what those counts would be, how many students they project that they're going to have versus the students we're going to have. And that's where we think the sharing of information that Representative Irwin mentioned would be valuable. Finally, I thank you for the opportunity to testify. One final thing that hasn't been included in these bills but was brought up in a work group that the governor put together over a year ago was financial training for school board members. Clearly, school board members have a large part to play in the decisions that are made at the budgetary level, but many of those people do not have the necessary financial expertise to make the tough decisions or to understand how their decision is going to affect the budget. We urge you to reconsider the governor's proposal to include mandatory training for board members on financial issues, to give them better opportunity to ask the right questions, to make the right decisions, and to be better informed in their financial process.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it very much.